This, unfortunately, may only be the beginning. 300 FBI agents on January 6th. What the hell? What the hell? And $16.7 million uncovered of EBT fraud. Yeah, that and a whole lot more coming up this morning on the Jay Sheldon Show. Happy Monday. I am Jay Sheldon, the one and only. Danny, good morning. Definitely tell it's Monday. Tired, lazy feels. You know what? Apparently we are in sync because I almost didn't do the show this morning. Once the theme starts rolling and everything is going, I find some energy somewhere. But honestly, half an hour ago, I was like, I'm really going to do this. But yeah, we're going to do this, of course. So I know about what you're feeling. Got your blackout coffee? Good for you. Pep me up before running errands and doing chores. Fantastic. Hey, don't forget that blackout coffee. Use the link in our show notes. You get 20% off your first order when you use the code J20. But use that link in our show notes. Even if you're going back for round 2, 3, or 15, use our link so we get the credit. We appreciate it. And one more thing. Our Locals channel is up and running, and there is a new show called The After Hours. And we relax, we open up, we speak our minds. You know, we do that on this show anyway, but maybe just a little bit more. We tell you about stories we haven't covered yet and why. For example, the Charlie Kirk shooting. We got a lot of conspiracy theories going on. No, I do not buy the FBI's current narrative, but there's so many out there that I don't want to do it right now on the main show. So you can see what that is all about. Also, here's an admission of guilt. I told you on the After Hours on Locals that I would give you the story of my Facebook lawsuit. And I did the After Hours show, and I forgot to tell you about it. So I did a short little snippet as an extra explaining what the story is behind the Facebook lawsuit. It's very cool. Check it out. How you do that is you hit that little red button there that says join, and then you sign up for Locals. Yes, it costs you like $5 a month to subscribe. It's $5-6, something like that. And it's less than a cup of coffee. And you will get access to our After Hours show. We're going to continue to do that, not every day of the week, maybe 2-3 times a week we will produce these After Hours shows. And so you'll have some regular exclusive content that only you get to access if you are signed up as a member at Locals. Red button somewhere around in there, down below, and get signed up. All right. An unbelievably horrific story from Michigan. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Grand Blanc set on fire. People are dead. Here's what we know so far. I've just kind of put together a list here. 4 people confirmed dead. 2 died as a result of gunshot wounds. 2 bodies later found inside the church. 1 person in critical condition. 7 more in stable condition. There are an unknown number of congregants of that church who are still missing. The FBI, now the lead agency, the incident being investigated as a part of an act of targeted violence. Additional bomb threats ongoing. Some targeted locations, also churches. It's believed the shooter used an accelerant, something like gasoline, and then set the church ablaze. Suspected explosives were located. No evidence they were used to start the fire. The original 9/11 call came in at 10:25 a.m. and the shooter was neutralized at 10:33 a.m. Just 8 minutes later. The shooter, 40-year-old Thomas Jacob Sanford, is an Iraq war vet who has a son with congenital hyperinsulinism. Never heard of that before, don't know what it is. But this is sadly only the beginning. It is going to get worse. What proof do I have? Absolutely none. It is a gut feeling. I trust my gut feelings. Whether it's to try and draw our attention away from Charlie Kirk, because there are too many, far too many questions right now about the Charlie Kirk shooting. The FBI's theory does not stand up. Can't tell you which one of the many theories that are out there currently being taunted would be true. I don't know. Hopefully we will find out eventually. Candace Owens been doing a fantastic job. I know. People, it's a love-hate thing. People love her or hate her. Love or hate, she gets to the bottom of things. In fact, just today, she has promised some A-level disclosures. So don't know what that's about. We will find out later today. Those who live by Western tradition, Judeo-Christian values. This is from Nora Dimitrova Clinton at the Legal Insurrection. American core principles mourn their heroes with respect, dignity, and outrage. They celebrate life. They peacefully honor the departed hero's legacy. Those who live by woke radicalism worship criminals instead. There's no sorrowful solemnity. There's no dignified respect in their demeanor after the death of their symbols, who often perish as a result of a lawful arrest or self-defense. Instead, their reaction is marked by vandalism, arson, violence, and the revolutionary chaos of unhinged crowds, intent on dismantling the system. The woke mob does not respect human life, but celebrates death. Its goal, the destruction of the status quo at any cost. We are going to see more of this kind of action. Churches burned, shootings, assassinations. It is absolutely going to happen. You must be prepared. When you go to church service, keep your head on a swivel. If you can go armed, concealed, do it. This is a nightmare. For what reason they are pulling this bullshit off, I don't know. I have a feeling it's to distract you from other things going on. 10 people shot, 2 fatally. Maybe you haven't heard about the North Carolina incident. Nigel Max Edge, 40 years old, from Oak Island, charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder, 5 counts of attempted murder, 5 counts of assault with a deadly weapon, following an incident at the Southport Waterfront Bar and American Fish Company restaurant. He's being held today without bond. He'll be making an appearance in court. Yeah, you haven't heard of this incident, right? Coring said the suspect in custody identifies as a combat vet, self-identified as injured in the line of duty, suffers from PTSD rather. They also confirmed Sunday that Mr. Nigel Edge actually changed his name some years ago. At the moment, it isn't clear if North Carolina has anything approaching political in nature. Seems clear mental illness certainly is involved. That seems to be the common element in a lot of these incidents. It also seems extremely clear that in both cases, there was some serious planning, some preparation involved. The North Carolina case, one question that pops up right away is, how did he manage to gain that firearm with such a lengthy police record? I mean, this has red flags all over it. We don't know enough about the case in Michigan because it's too fresh, it's too new to even ask the right questions. But the attack seems consistent with other attacks we've seen on faith communities. And don't forget the Annunciation Catholic Church. Certainly a piece with what we saw this morning. Mental issues were at or near the root cause of that shooting. Sane person attacks a church in this fashion. We've had 4 such attacks on Christian churches in the last 2 months. Trend? No, we can't call it a trend. We'll be called hateful if we do that. These parallels make one mindful of Bill Clinton, how he saw churches burning regularly. I wonder how many actually remember that story. Remember, he signed an anti-church burning law back in July of 1996? Arson at the time was already a crime. When murder rates, particularly mass murder rates, spiked comparatively higher than Hunter Biden on a bender, Athena went on to describe several then recent incidents in which she correctly points out were quite preventable. The killings by mentally challenged people before we basically eliminated long-term commitment of such people. Mental institutions, remember? Now the story just broke yesterday, I believe, that Trump wants to bring back mental institutions. Great, do it. These attacks were comparatively rare, but since then, not so much. What was one of the big reasons for turning these people loose? As typical with government health care, the conditions they were kept in was absolutely horrible. VA hospitals, county homes for the aged, all kinds of these institutions suffering from the same institutional issues. The objection to being institutionalized, given those conditions, understandable. The solution they came to was worse than the cure, and it puts every one of us at a higher risk. Trump has been working on this problem, trying to get people off the streets and into proper care. Now that move, particularly with the large number of recent high-profile cases where the perp was mentally challenged, is gaining in popularity because we have had it. We are at the end of our rope. We're going to tie a knot and hold on, but we are there. And part of the cause of that slowness is because before the early 80s, mental health issues were dealt with at the state level. And if we return to that system, it will be a huge problem. So how do we address the issue? How do we save lives and not allow these conditions these kind of people were kept in from getting worse? Worse than prison in a lot of cases. Maybe the largest issue is the very definition of mental illness. The key to proper solution is proper problem identification. And we seem adverse to properly identifying these problems because somebody might get offended. The higher profile cases we've seen since, say, the 90s, involving gender fluidity, transsexualism, blah, blah, blah. It's been pointed out time and time again and basically ignored, other than a brief mention. There is an uptick in these kind of attacks. They are happening more and more and more. shooting attack on ICE facilities in Alvarado, Texas, linked to trans and anti-fascist activities. The number of incidents is still small compared to the much larger amount of right-wing violence in America. That, according to several studies, including a University of Maryland examination that found far-right extremism was responsible for nearly twice as many violence acts as the far left from 1948 to 2018. Now, why stretch the figures back that far? Well, that's an easy one. They are doing that because they need to distort the perception of what the figures are saying about our current situation. This is 2025, not 1940. How many trans people even admitted in the 40s and 50s to being trans? All these recent attacks have mental issues at their core. Time to start looking more seriously at that aspect, and I don't give a fat rat's ass who gets offended. Get offended. Aw, let me feel sorry for you a minute. Okay, I'm over it. We want to solve the problem. Lives are at stake. And like I said, these things are going to continue, I promise you. I hate to say it, and I hate to be right, but this is going to happen again and again for whatever reason, trying to distract us, trying to pull our attention away. It won't be but another 3 weeks, and Charlie Kirk will be out of the headlines. We won't be talking about it anymore. Sadly, that's kind of just the way things go. That was good. Oh, no wonder. It's Blackout coffee. Have you started your day with Blackout coffee yet? You really need to, because it is simply the best. Blackout Coffee, American company, local co-ops, American farmers. They work with all of them. They support our troops. They support our First and Second Amendment. They are all about all the stuff you and I care about. And they're about making the best coffee on the planet. Premium beans. They only roast your beans after you order, ship them out within 48 hours. So you've got a fresh roasted bag of beans. And if you don't want to have to grind them yourself, now they offer ground versions of a lot of their roasts. Cold brew, instant, flavored coffees, each one better than the rest. Oh, man, the flavors are incredible. Blackout coffee, it's all we drink in this house. It is the official coffee of the Jay Sheldon Show. Oh, man. Get yourself a bag. Try it. Just try one bag. Not terribly expensive. Even if you don't want the beans, you can get them to grind it for you and try them. You will be back for more, I promise you, because it's just that good. Use the link down in our show notes and use the code J20 for 20% off your first order. How's that for a hell of a deal? Now it's really inexpensive. J20, use the link in our show notes for Blackout Coffee. Thank you, Blackout Coffee, for being a part of this show. Earlier this month, a 50-year-old mother in Yolo County, California, decided to make a statement at a local school board meeting about this policy they had that allows junior high kids to choose which locker room they want to use based on their gender identity. She wanted to show the board just how uncomfortable these little girls feel when a biological male steps into their most sacred space and strips down. And to do this, Beth Bourne from Davis took off her clothes at the meeting when she was addressing the school board. Now, she was wearing a two-piece bathing suit underneath her shirt and pants, but the school board members, clutching pearls, were horrified. She is a very well-known parents' rights activist. She's chairman of the Moms for Liberty in Yolo County. And she said she just wanted to do something that would make her point. Today, she says, as I was preparing my comments, I thought, you know what? I'm going to try something different. I just thought I would show the school board what does it feel like to change into your PE clothing. So I had a bathing suit on. Everything was covered. How can they expect the girls to feel comfortable doing that? So I thought I made a really good point. Indeed, you did, lady. But the school board didn't agree. No surprise there. The board VP, Hiram Jackson, filling in for the president, immediately used the gavel to call for a recess. Bourne claimed the board was violating her First Amendment rights to speak, and after an 8-minute break, everybody returned, including Bourne, who was once again fully clothed. And she got a second chance, but it wasn't without a warning from Jackson, who said, if you disrupt the meeting again, I will just gavel it into recess and you will be asked to leave. Here is that unbelievably cool incident.
On a child's transgender identity that they can pick which bathroom they want. So we have, right now at this school district, we have children self-identifying into different bathrooms. This is allowed.
No. We're going to recess.
I'm going to finish my comments. You are violating my First Amendment right. I am putting on my PE uniform.
You are disrupting.
Well-known parents' rights activist in Davis with children in the school district, and she tells me she felt the only way to get the board's attention was to turn to drastic measures by taking off her shirt and then her pants to get her point across.
Yesterday, as I was preparing my comments, I thought, you know what? I'm going to try something different. I just thought I would show the school board what does it feel like to change into your PE clothing. And I had a bathing suit on, so everything was covered as an outfit. How can they expect the girls to feel comfortable doing that? So I just thought I made a really good point.
Do you consider what you did last night disruptive?
You know, I don't think it was disruptive. What was disruptive was them interrupting my 3 minutes of free speech. That didn't stop the orderly flow of the meeting. I didn't prevent the next person from giving their 3 minutes of comment.
And
depending on a child.
And there you go. Stop that. I love what she did, Marilyn. You're exactly right. I love it. Made her point. Well, if you're that uncomfortable with me in my bathing suit here in front of you, imagine how my daughter feels having some boy come into the girls' locker room and get undressed and change into his PE clothes. Would he also be wearing just maybe a jock under his clothes and that's all when he takes his pants off? How would that make you feel with his ass sticking out? Yeah, not so good, right? Kudos to that mom. Fantastic. Great story. Man. Danny, I need another cup of Blackout. AJ must be feeling the Monday blues too. He's already asleep on my lap. That's all right, AJ. You continue your nap. It'll be Blackout all day. All right, Portland, you're up to bat. Get ready, 'cause they're coming. Trump has deployed troops to Portland and more ICE facilities, and He's authorized full force. Trump instructed Secretary of War Pete Hegseth to take action against terror organization Antifa to protect immigration and customs enforcement facilities. He made that announcement on his Truth Social Saturday, framing Portland in particular as a war zone. And if you've seen the video, you know it is. Violent Antifa thugs had the ICE facility in Portland under siege for months now, after the deadly shooting at the Dallas ICE facility just this past week. Trump is fed up with these leftist domestic terrorists. He's even authorized full force, which means shoot to kill. Fantastic. DHS officials spotted in Portland after the president said reinforcements were coming to protect federal property in the state. Antifa, communists, liberals, open border extremists all have been carrying out their anti-government attacks for weeks.
Yep.
Homeland Security. These people are not screwing around. FAFO, pal. You want to play? You're going to pay. Hegseth said he's already taking action to carry out the president's orders. Kristi Noem emphasized these horrendous killings have to serve as a wake-up call to the far right that their rhetoric about ICE has consequences, comparing ICE day in, day out to the Nazi Gestapo. Secret police, slave patrols has consequences. The men and women of ICE are fathers and mothers. They are sons. They are daughters. They get up every morning. They try to make our communities safer. And like everybody, just want to go home to their families at the end of the day. Help is coming, Portland. Get ready for it. Thank goodness for that. Hegseth's big meeting is apparently, what was it, tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. I believe it was set for Tuesday. He called all of his generals, called for a meeting, yes, September 30th, so tomorrow, at Quantico Marine Corps Base, ordered all top U.S. military commanders to attend. Liberal pundits, woke members of the military have gone absolutely crazy. Speculation, outrage, fury, because nobody's announced what the agenda will be. Here's them crying out. Ron Filipkowski, that moron. Hegseth better have a damn good reason for taking the historic and unprecedented step of summoning the most senior military advisors from around the globe to a meeting. That reason better have nothing to do with determining their personal loyalty to Trump or Hegseth. Well, now their heads are really going to explode, because guess who the VIP guest is going to be at that meeting? Yep, the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump. Ha ha. Cue the violins. Trump said in an interview, it's all about the esprit de corps. Interview with NBC News Sunday confirmed he plans to attend this unusual meeting. Not just a very nice meeting talking about how well we're doing militarily, talking about being in great shape, talking about a lot of good positive things. It's just a good message. Trump said in a phone call, we have some great people coming in, just an esprit de corps. You know the expression esprit de corps? That's what it's all about. We're talking about what we're doing, what they're doing, and how we're doing. So, tomorrow's meeting will have a little extra special in there for all you leftist commie bastards. Danny, ICE was in my old neighbor's town. She posted, "Go check on your people and yell F ICE." I don't know how to talk with the people like that anymore. You know, honestly, I don't either. Seriously, they're not listening. They don't want to listen. So you're pretty much wasting your breath. She doesn't follow politics and was arguing with me. Great. I told her everything I knew, how ICE threats are up 700%, threatening the spouses and children, harming agents. And she says, "Oh, well, now they'll know how it feels." You see? Turned off the brain. How can I continue a friendship with someone like that? I hate ending it over politics and things like this, but she's completely uneducated and doesn't care to be. Evil to wish harm on agents and families. Denny, unfortunately, in a lot of cases, you just got to cut it off. She is not going to listen. Her mind is made up, and you are wasting your time. It ain't going to happen. Better to cut your losses now. Frankly, someone like that doesn't need to be a friend at all. So do it. I know, not easy, but sometimes you just got to make the move. $1 million worth of rare whiskey? Ooh. I want to make some new friends with these thieves. Thieves have stolen $1 million worth of rare whiskey from a Northwest distillery. Take a look at that. Look at that. A bottle of single malt from Westland Distillery. More than $1 million worth of the company's 10-year-old Gariana variety. If I do that one more time, I'm going to kick myself in the ass, I swear. Thieves made off with 12,000 bottles of this craft whiskey in a very rare U.S. liquor heist this past summer, worth nearly $1 million of product. They spirited away nearly half the stock of a single malt distributor that had worked for more than a decade to make. And now the Saget Valley Sheriff's Office is investigating, whiskey aficionados wondering if and where the coveted bottles of Westlands Distillery's first 10-year Gariana whiskey might turn up. These bottles apparently disappeared July 31st. Someone in a freight truck showed up at the distillery warehouse in Burlington, Washington, holding the paperwork that purportedly gave them the right to pick up a shipment of Westland's single malt, Watch Post blended, and Gariana whiskeys bound for New Jersey. The bottles, no surprise, never arrived at their intended locations. A sophisticated, fraudulent carrier scheme is how it's being called. It was discovered a week later. It took them that long, a week. Jason Moore, the managing director of the Seattle-based distillery, the 10th anniversary edition bottles, he says, are irreplaceable. It's an unfortunate and pretty extraordinary situation, said Moore. Sheriff's Department did not respond to a request for an interview by the AP. It could be very difficult to sell these stolen goods. Mark Gillespie, the host of the Whiskey Cast podcast, published more than 3,800 tasting notes for different whiskey varieties. He says It's going to be really hard for whoever took this to actually get this onto the market, because what they took is so rare that everybody knows about it. We see these thefts occasionally in Scotland, where thieves will steal a trailer full of whiskey, and it usually winds up in Russia. But getting 12,000 bottles of scotch, single malt scotch, out of the U.S. ain't gonna be an easy thing to do. And flopping them in the U.S., very tough. There is a three-tiered system here for alcohol sales. Generally, the distilleries have to sell liquor to distributors or wholesalers, who then sell to retailers, restaurants, bars. So selling alcohol on the secondary market, like when individuals buy up popular bottles and then resell them for profit, generally that's illegal. Not true in much of Europe, by the way, where auction houses, other businesses specialize in secondary market sales. But that is amazing. $1 million worth of this 10-year-old, one-of-a-kind Gariana variety of the Westland Distillery. I wonder what it tastes like. Oh, man. How many? 500? 300? 300. January 6th, a date that will live also in infamy. So, what's that about 300 FBI agents doing on the Capitol grounds January 6th? 300. The FBI has been very cagey about their activities January 6th. The allegations that undercover operatives were embedded in the crowd during the riot isn't tinfoil hat material. The Bureau has admitted it. Inspector General tried to deny it, but there is no spinning this. FBI had agents on the ground, some of whom entered the Capitol. Now we learn there were hundreds of agents on the ground, around 275. Kash Patel had to clarify what the FBI was doing over that weekend. Former FBI Director Chris Wray might be hauled before Congress again. We'll see if he lies this time. He said the agents were dispatched for crowd control. Did Wray lie to Congress? Might be time we asked him more questions.
Focusing on those who were there in an undercover capacity on January 6th, how many were there?
Again, I'm not sure that I can give you that number as I sit here. I'm not sure there were undercover agents on scene.
You see what he's doing there? You see what he's doing there? He's using wordplay. The senator, or whoever that was, asked him how many undercover agents. Well, those people who were on scene, who were with the FBI, were technically not, their job description was not undercover agents. It was something else. So this idiot is perfectly legit in saying there were no undercover agents on the scene.
I find that kind of a remarkable statement, Director. At this point, you don't know whether there were undercover federal agents, FBI
You're
agents
asking the wrong question.
in the crowd or in the Capitol on January 6th.
I say that because I want to be very careful. There have been a number of court filings related to some of these topics, and I want to make sure that I stick within what's in.
I understand that, but I thought I heard you say you didn't know whether there were FBI agents or informants or human sources in the Capitol or in the vicinity on January 6th. Did I misunderstand you? I thought that's what you said.
Well, I referred very specifically to undercover agents.
Yeah. And so are you acknowledging then there were undercover agents?
As I sit here right now, I do not believe there were undercover agents on scene, at
Any
least
assets?
FBI agents.
Did you have any assets present that day in the crowd?
When it comes to what you're calling assets, or what we would call confidential human sources, that's a place where, again, I want to be careful, much as I said in response to an earlier question. There are court filings that I think speak to this that I'm happy to make sure we get to you, assuming they're not under seal. And that can better answer the question than I can as I sit here right now.
How can you tell he's lying? Yep, his lips are moving. Just throw them all in jail and toss the key away, please. Seriously. Hey, Boston, got some bad news for you guys. Woof. The Secret Service. Yeah, that Secret Service. The Secret Service has seized 16 skimmers. They're called skimmers in Boston, which they say has stopped $16.7 million worth of EBT fraud. That right there is one of those skimmers. It looks like your normal keypad at your ATM, but it is actually something that's been placed on top of the normal keypad. And it is recording all your information, including your PIN number. Yeah. Secret Service seized 16 of these machines from Boston. Law enforcement personnel visited 700 businesses throughout the greater Boston area, checking and removing illegal skimming devices, ATMs, gas pumps, point-of-sale terminals. These recovered skimmers saved a total from all operations of more than $334 million in fraud loss. Wow. They also distributed educational material about EBT fraud, skimming to businesses to help them better identify the warning signs. This is insane. Criminals often will steal the EBT and other payment card numbers by installing these illegal skimming devices on ATMs, gas pumps, merchant points of sale. Scammers using this technology are capturing the card information from EBT cards and then encode that data on another card with a magnetic strip. Estimated financial institutions and consumers, how much is it costing us? More than $1 billion every year. Damn. $1 billion, folks. And that was just 16 of these things in the greater Boston area. Unbelievable. You know what else is unbelievable? What the hell is going on in the UK? The UK is lost. It's done. Forget it. If you can, and I know there are a lot of people who still love that country, who still love England, who were born and raised there, a lot of good people. But for some reason, the powers that be, the illegal immigrants, they are tearing your country apart. And if you need any more proof of that, all you need to do is take a look at this 75-year-old grandmother who was arrested for offering to talk to abortion-seeking women. That's all she did. She was arrested near Glasgow Hospital. She was holding a sign that it says, let me show you, there's a picture. Coercion is a crime. Here to talk, only if you want. Rose Dougherty is an anti-abortion activist. God bless her. She was arrested by these idiot Scottish police on Saturday in Glasgow. for holding that placard that read, "Coercion is a crime, here to talk, only if you want." Apparently, that contravened the safe access zones in Scotland. That prohibits people from protesting within 200 meters, which is about 650 feet, of abortion clinics. This is how that whole situation was handled, and it is a disgrace, an absolute disgrace to the government of the UK, the police department of the UK. You should be ashamed.
Just watch your head as well. What are you doing here today?
I'm just here with my sign, offering conversation.
Are you willing to move?
No,
The buffer zone is at the top of this road, just
yes,
down there.
I know, yeah.
Can you make your way to the top of the road?
I'll stand here,
You stay here.
yes.
Not much choice, no. You do understand that you believe there's not much choice in having to arrest you for breaching the buffer zone legislation. You understand that, don't you?
Right, so what part of the buffer zone legislation am I breaching then?
Would you like me to read it to you?
Yes.
Okay, so in terms of behaviours that breach the legislation, where there's intent or recklessness, or may include approaching someone to try and persuade them not to access abortion services surrounding people as they try and go in or out of the clinic or the hospital. This is the hospital here, we're within the buffer zone, handing out leaflets, religious preaching and silent vigils. Okay, I'm arresting you under Section 1 of the Criminal Justice Scotland Act 2016 for breaching the Abortion Services Scotland Act 2024. The reason for your arrest is that I suspect that you have committed an offence, and I believe that keeping you in custody is necessary and proportionate for the purposes of bringing you before a court or otherwise dealing with you in accordance with the law. Do you understand?
Yes.
You're not obliged to say anything, but anything you do say may be noted and used in evidence. Do you understand? Do you have a reply to make regarding your arrest?
Well, I wasn't approaching anyone, I wasn't handing out any leaflets, I wasn't doing anything that in my mind contravenes your buffer zone.
Just right.
75 years old, this poor, poor woman.
Get you in the back of the van.
Whilst you're inside the van, if you can please refrain from putting your hands in your pockets.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, have you got a step down for that?
We don't have
Give
a
you a
step
hand
down,
in.
but we can give you a hand to
Give me a
step up.
hand, okay?
The woman has a double hip replacement too, by the way. This is the kind of evil that is going on right now in the UK. And this is just one very small example of it happening time and time and time again. Just the other day, some guy sentenced to 2 years in prison. I think we covered that. For making a Facebook post. 2 years. The UK is lost, my friends, and I really don't think there's any way it's going to come back. And you better be prepared, because we're next. Hand to God, we are next. We're done. That's it. Wrap it up. Thank you. Thanks for popping by. Really appreciate it. Hey, don't forget to hit that follow button on X and on Rumble. We're live on both platforms. You can also see the show on YouTube, the Jay Sheldon Show channel over there. We upload it about the day or so after we're done here live. Again, I don't publish that much. It's just there if you want it. Another access for you on the Jay Sheldon Show channel on YouTube. And very important is to check out our new show, The After Hours. You hit that red join button there, make a small donation, and then you get access to all of our member-only videos. We've done 2.5 of them so far, and we're going to be doing some more. We'll do probably 2 or 3 a week, and you will get exclusive access to that, the Jay Sheldon Show, The After Hours on Locals. Thank you, and I will see you all again Let's do it tomorrow, shall we? Enjoy the rest of your Monday.